Hey guys, Mr. Decker here. This is Unit 2, Lesson 13, Project Personal Web Page. That's right, it's a project this time. That means you're going to be doing some unique and creative things. So let's get into the standards. Algorithms in programming. Seek and incorporate feedback from team members and users to refine a solution that meets user needs. Incorporate existing code, media, and libraries into original programs and give attribution. Systematically test and refine programs using a range of test cases. Document programs in order to make them easier to follow, test, and debug. Under impacts of computing, we're going to use public domain or Creative Commons media and refrain from copying or using material created by others without permission. So important to make sure we're using our Creative Commons licensing agreements. Essential question for this lesson / project is, what skills and practices help when we code web pages? Well, understanding how to read, analyze, and debug, right? Understanding specifically the HTML and CSS code that we're using, and remembering best practices. This entire lesson is on code.org, so make sure you're signed in with your school Google account. Your grade for this lesson will be based on your programming on the lesson on code.org. Watching the video is mandatory, so watch the video as you work your way through the lesson. And best practice is to watch me do a step, pause, and then complete the step on code.org. Repeat until you're finished. Except in this case, you're not going to be doing exactly what I do. I'm making my own website. You're going to be making your own website as well, using your own creative juices. So I don't want you to create a smart lab website like I'm about to do. I want you to create a website that you care about, that you want to make, that you want to share with the world, right? Now, the rubric. Let's get down to the nuts and bolts of this. We need to have at least 2 images. We must have correct Creative Commons licensing and attribution. We must have at least 2 headings of different sizes. We need to make those headings different colors and use at least 1 text decoration. We need at least 2 paragraphs. We need at least 1 ordered or unordered list. And we need to customize our images and text using CSS on the style sheet. We need to publish our website by sharing it with people we want to see it. And finally, at the very end, on the very last bubble, we're going to complete a reflection survey there. Now, I'm going to head on over to code.org, bubble 1. I'm going to click continue over to bubble 2. Notice I'm on lesson 13, project personal web page. If you forget how to get here, here we go. From the dashboard that you see every time you log into code.org, you scroll all the way down to the bottom. You'll find this link that says web development. And then you'll scroll down all of the assignments that you've already completed to find lesson 13 and start with bubble 1. And then continue to bubble 2. Now, once you get here, I want you to pull up your completed project guide that you did week prior. And to access that, I want you to go to docs.google.com. Just type it in just like that, docs.google.com. Hit your enter key. And then in the search, you should be able to find it by typing in U2L12. Enter. U2L12. And then you'll find your project guide that you completed the week prior. You'll want to have this pulled up because it's going to help guide you through completing this lesson if you sketched out your page, described your page, described the styles of the different tags you're going to be using. And you should have at this, if you did this whole thing correctly, you should have already found the images you wanted to use and downloaded them onto your Chromebook or computer so that you could use them for the creation of your web page. For instance, you'll see some of the pictures I'm going to be using, like my code.org logo, Smart Lab picture, headshot, Smart Lab picture, Smart Lab banner, so on and so forth. Pictures that I'll be using for my website myself. So I hope you completed your project guide, because that's going to help you tremendously with going through and completing this entire project. Now, let's read through what it says on Bubble 2 here. In the next few levels, you'll be completing and publishing your personal web page. This is your chance to share your ideas with the world and also to show all the things that you have learned. You need your completed project guide, the images you downloaded, in the project rubric. You have all three of these things. Here's the rubric on the assignment page. Project guide that we just pulled up, and the images we downloaded in my pictures folder here. I'm ready to go. Here are the things we've learned so far. We learned how to use HTML to structure the content of our pages. We learned how to use CSS, cascading style sheets, to style the text, colors, and layout of our pages. We learned how to format our code to make it easier to read. We've learned how to debug HTML and CSS code. We've learned how to use images in a responsible way. And we've learned how to protect our personal information online. So here are some examples of websites that you've seen these before. You can click on them. It'll open up a new tab, and you can kind of get ideas for how you want to structure your web page through that, or what you might want to make your web page about, because it's possible that you completed your project guide and you don't like your project guide, so maybe you want to do something else. All right, let's continue. Bubble 3 here, upload the images. Next, you'll need to upload all of your images into your project. Do this. Upload all of the images listed in your project guide into your project. Make sure that each image file name uses good naming conventions. So to go ahead and do that, we need to click Add Image, Upload File. I'm going to go ahead and add my headshot. Open. All right, and then upload another file. Cartoon Smart Lab. Upload another file. Let's see, what else do we want? This Smart Lab picture. Upload. I want the code.org logo. I want Creative Learning Systems logo. And Smart Lab banner if I didn't already do that. Yep. All right. That's all the pictures I want uploaded. Project size limit reached. Total size of the files in your project has exceeded the maximum available space. You will not be able to add any new files until you delete some of the existing files to free up space. Okay. But it added everything, it looks like. So there is a limit, right? Because there are literally millions of other kids doing this, and teachers doing this as well across the world, literally, not just in North Carolina, not just in the United States, but this is a shared experience that you are having with millions of kids across the planet in various countries and in various regions of the world. We're all learning how to code on code.org. So with that being said, it's important to understand that they've got limited space on their servers, so you can't, make ESPN or CNN.com or FoxNews.com or anything like that, or TheVerge.com or websites like that are great and fantastic and have lots of information and lots of pictures and lots of neat little doodads here and there all over the place, right? We're just learning. We're figuring this out for the first time, so keep in mind that our websites are not going to be the coolest thing you've ever seen. So make sure that you are being creative, making cool stuff, but within the scope of what we know. All right, back to my HTML page. So I have an index.html page and my style sheet here. Style sheet doesn't have anything on it. My HTML page so far has a link to the style sheet already. That is super helpful. Thank you, code.org, for already putting that code in there. All right, so we are finished uploading our pictures to our project. I've already got good file names for these: Cartoon Smart Lab, CLS for Creative Learning Systems, code.png. Remember, you can change your file names by renaming them there. And make sure that they have names that make sense so that you know what's what when you're putting your stuff in your website. So back to my index page. Make sure all the file names work. Yes, they do. They follow conventions. Let's finish and go to bubble 4. I say, let's finish and go to bubble 4. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's thinking about it really hard. Okay, there we go. It's working now. All right, bubble 4. Okay, I get it. You're probably going to tell me that every page. File size limit reached. Next, you should add the HTML to your page. Add HTML to make the page you sketched in your project guide. Okay. So my project guide over here, here's my sketch, right? I taught you how to do your sketch without having to draw anything out. So you should have some kind of thing like this. So first thing first, I'm going to make my title, Murphy Middle Smart Lab. Whenever you're putting your text in, it's always inside the body tags. So think of the body as your actual website. Body is your actual website. So make sure that anything you want to appear on the website is between the body tags. So let's get started with my H1 tag and Murphy Middle Smart Lab. And H1 tag. There's my Murphy Middle Smart Lab. Now, next thing was a paragraph. And I've already got my paragraph written, so I'm just going to copy that. Control C. Back over here, I'm going to enter down twice from that line. Make sure my code is nice and spaced out so that it's really well organized and I can find any errors very easily. So paragraph tag. Control V. My paragraph in there, and then end paragraph at the end of that. Oop. And there's my paragraph. Welcome to the Murphy Middle School Smart Lab website. I am excited to have you here. This website will detail the curriculum and activities you can do in the Smart Lab. All right, so now I've got one header and one paragraph. We're already making some good progress here. All right, enter down twice. What's the next thing I wanted to do? A picture of me. All right, so I need to add an image tag, img, space, source, src, equals, and I want to use my headshot.jpg, space, alt, picture of Mr. Decker to describe that picture, and then end it. There's me. And then I am going to make this a little bit smaller. So I'm going to say height. And let's say 300 pixels. Let's say 250. Let's say 200. Let's say 150. Yeah, there we go. That's more reasonable. So that's one way you can make sure that the picture isn't too big on your screen. You can go and you can also put width here, and it will adjust both the width and the height accordingly. So there's my first picture. What else did I want to add to this? List of Smart Lab projects header. So let's do that. So I'm going to do an H3 tag for this header. Whoop, H3 tag for this header. And what did I say I wanted to name this? List of Smart Lab projects. Oh, I missed the picture of the Smart Lab. So before I do that, I want to do another image. Let's do the banner, Smart Lab banner. So image, src equals Smart Lab banner. And I have taken these pictures myself, so I'm going to put my Creative Commons licensing on them here in just a second. Alt Lab banner. And that's really, 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 really big, way too big. So inside here, space, width, select that, and I'm going to make the width like 300. And if I put my paragraph here for my Creative Commons licensing agreement, say Mr. Brian Gaddy took this picture, and because he did my headshot. That was from a middle school dance that I chaperoned a few years ago. Mr. Gaddy was doing the photography at that dance. He set up a booth where we could get our pictures made. I wore my fancy bow tie and a vest and a nice collared shirt and got my picture taken. And I've really been fond of that picture of myself. Let's see. It's going to be CC, BY, NC. All right, that gets that Smart Lab image on the next line. And I'm going to say for this one, giving attribution here for Creative Commons licensing. I took this picture, CC. I want credit for it, and I don't want anybody to make money off my work, except for me. All right, see, boom. Now I've got my Creative Commons licensing agreement right there. Space that out, space that out, space that out. Very good, very good. Okay. All right, we've got our pictures in there. We've got our paragraphs in there. Now, moving on here, we're going to make a list, I think, of Smart Lab projects. So I need to make an unordered list. Well, let's title that first. And it's going to be an H3 list of Smart Lab projects. And H3. I'll make sure that showed up nicely, and it did. Enter down twice, and we're going to put in our unordered list. Enter down a few times, and we're going to go ahead and end that unordered list. And in between those, we're going to put the actual list tags. So I already have a big, huge, long list saved somewhere else to save you some time from having to watch me do this. So I am going to list these in here. And actually, I've already got code for the list tag and everything. So I'm going to take that out, because I've already made a website for the Smart Lab. So I'm going to use what I have already. Control C. And then this is going to be a whole lot of code that's about to get posted in here. So don't get discouraged. Control V. Now, here's a big long set of lists. So I'm going to scroll back up here, and I'm going to make these H3s. Yep. Boop-a-da-dip-a-da-doo. Boop-a-da-dip-a-da-doo. Making edits to my webpage. All right. There we go. All right. So you can see I've got 3 lists there. Each one has its own heading. And it shows up over here. Normal rotation engagements, secondary engagements, digital engagements. So these are, I'm going to make an H2 tag here, and later I'm going to make sure my H2 tag is underlined. And I'm going to say Smart Projects. All right, very good. And then down here, under that last UL, enter twice, and I'm ready for my next part. And what else did I want to add? I got my list of Smart Lab projects and engagement, made my unordered list. I want to do my computer science discoveries curriculum stuff. So I've also got this saved somewhere else. So in the interest of time, saving you some pain of having to watch me type all this out, I'm going to Control C and Control V that code in there. And you can see that's a lot of text there. I just saved you from having to watch me type out. And you see how that code works. All right, and let's see. What else did I want to add to my web page? So this web page is getting kind of big, just one big page. List of CSD curriculum. We did that, and might have more images throughout. So now I do want to add some images here. So to make a split here, let's add a picture. Let's see, right there. So image src equals, I want to use a cartoon smart lab picture, alt cartoon smart lab. And let's see how big that is. And okay, so yeah, that's really big. So back inside of that tag, let's do width equals, and let's say, what did I say for the Smart Lab banner? 300. So we'll do 300 on this one as well. Make it the same size. Very good. And then for that attribution or Creative Commons licensing, I created that. So David Decker dash CC BY NC end paragraph. Did I do that with? Yep. Okay. All right. Let's see now. What else did I say I wanted to add? I think I've got maybe some pictures that I'm not going to use. Do I want to use this one? So I've already got a cartoon version of the lab, maybe at the very end. I was going to use a code.org logo somewhere. Maybe right here, right after that H2 tag. So let me go back to my index page. There's that H2 tag. Add that image, src equals code. Alt. And it's the code.org logo. And I'm going to make this one pretty small. So width equals, let's make it like 200. That's too big. So let's make it more like 100. Maybe even smaller than that, like 80. 75. That's good. All right. So I think I've got one more picture I need to add. So I'm going to put that at the very, very end. After the end UL for end unordered list. So image src equals smart lab, and that's just that normal picture of the smart lab. Alt smart lab picture, and I want this one to have a width of 300. There that is at the very end. All right, so now I want to jazz this up a little, but first let's make sure I've done everything that it's wanting me to do. Let go. Let go. Yeah. Oh dear. There. Okay. Add HTML to the page you sketched in your project guide. Double check that the page has everything you want and make any changes you need. Let's finish. It's going to send us over to Bubble 5. And I think my web page is so big, it's like struggling to save everything. All right. Yep, I know I reached the project size limit. All right, next, style the page according to your plan. In the style sheet, add CSS rule set. So let's do that. So let's fix our let's do body, and then curly brace, and inside my rule set, I'm going to have background color, and I want my background color to be like a light gray. Let's see if I can find just light gray. Yeah, there we go. And semicolon. And then next, I want to have a rule set for my H1 tags, curly braces, and it automatically makes both of your curly braces as soon as you put in the first one. So that's kind of cool. That's nifty. All right, now let's see. I want the color of that to be a dark yellow. If that exists, and it doesn't. So let me go to HTML color names and try to find a kind of a dark yellow color. Dark yellow, gold. That might work. Whoop. Move you over. Gold. Oh, that's really bright. Might just leave that black then. That's fine. But I am going to add a text decoration to it and make it underlined. And I think I also want to make it larger. So I'm going to say font or text size. Or is it font size? Font size, yep. So font size, let's do like 75 px, too big. 60 px, too big. 50 px. Perfect. All right, now I need a rule set for my H2 tags because I remember I said that I want those to be underlined. That's these guys. So text decoration, underline. Let's make sure that worked. And it did. All right. And I think I'm going to do outline. Let me see. A border. So let's see. I'm going to do a border style for these for my H1 border style. We want that border style to be solid. There we go. That looks good. I like that. And then semicolon. Can't forget the semicolons. And then let's see, my width. No. Don't need to mess with the width, or do I? Ooh, I want this to be centered. Text align. Center. There we go. That looks good. Now it's in the middle of that. There we go. And remember, if you want any of your images to float left or do anything like that, float right, float center, you can use float on your image tags. And I actually do want to add some rules for my images. Let's see. Border style for these. I want to be solid. So that adds that border around the picture and it just makes it look a lot more professional. All right. And then I also want to do a border radius to give them a little bit of a curve, make it look even more professional. Let's do 5px, and that gives it a little bit of a rounded edge there. If I said like 15px, it gives it even more of a rounded edge. I'm a big fan of 5. And it does that to every single picture by just adding that rule set for images. Let's see. I think that just about does it. But I want to have borders around my H2 tags. So let's do that. Border style. Solid. Let's see what that looks like. See, it goes all the way across. So I can fix that by telling it I only want the width of that border to be a certain amount. Let's see what auto does. Nope, nothing. Not what I want. Let's try 250 px. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Looking good over here. Just going through my website, making sure I like the way it's turning out. I want to go back to my code and see what that looks like in the HTML. See if I can mess with that at all. I'm going to go down here. That line right there, Unit 1 problem solving. That's just my list tag. I wonder, let's see, if I go into my style sheet and make a rule set called list, if I can do a text decoration that just underlines those. Yes, it does. Awesome. Okay, and that finishes that. Give me 1 second, guys, just to pause here. All right, and we're back. So that finishes this page. I've got all my CSS rule sets here that I want. I like the way that it looks. Uh-oh. It also underlined those. Well, that's okay. I like it. It looks good. All right, next we'll finish this. We did all of our CSS. Moving on to bubble 6. And man, my computer's really crunching hard to make sure this is working. I know I went over the limit. You're almost ready to publish your project, but you should check one more time that you have fulfilled all the requirements for this project. Do this. Check that you are comfortable sharing all the information that's on your site. Check that all of your images are correctly attributed and that you have the right to put them on your site. Did I miss any attributions? I did on this last picture, so I need to scroll all the way down. I'm glad it has these reminders. So I need to do a paragraph tag here. I took this picture and I want credit for it. So dash cc by nc. And make sure that showed up, and it did. Okay. Oh, and I forgot to do it for this code.org logo as well. And that right here. So, and I think I have what that licensing agreement is already. CC by YNC. So that was from code.org logo CC BY and C. Kind of in a hurry here. All right, so we did that. We made sure we've got all of our attributions. We got that one. We got that one. We got that one. We got code.org logo now. And we've got that one. Okay. Check that your project includes everything included in the project rubric. Back to the rubric. I've got more than 2 images. I did all the Creative Commons licensing. I have 3 different headings of different sizes. I didn't make them different colors. So back to my style sheet. I'm going to make my H3. Did I not do an H3 rule set? I didn't. So my H2 rule set, I'm going to make these gold. And let's see. All right. Yep. Made those gold. So now I've got that different colors, at least 2 paragraphs. Definitely have more than 2 paragraphs. At least one ordered on order list. I have multiple lists. Customize your images. I did that. And text on the style sheet. Did that. Publish my website. So I need to continue. Let's watch this video.
Building a website on its own is pretty cool. Being able to share it with others and put it out into the world is what inspires many people to learn how to develop websites in the first place. WebLab allows you to share the websites you create. Click the share button at the top to see the unique URL for your website. You can send the link to a friend so they can view it in any browser, or you can even open it yourself to see what the website looks like full size. If a friend sends you a website built using WebLab, there's an easy way to see the HTML they used to create it. Click on the gray bar at the bottom that says Built on Code Studio, and then click How It Works. This lets you view their code. If you'd like to build on someone else's website, click Remix, and you'll have a copy of your own that you can work on. If you're ever looking at a web page in WebLab and you don't fully understand it, you can use the inspector tool to take a closer look. First, turn on the inspector and then hover over the elements of the web page in the preview area. As you hover, WebLab will highlight the associated HTML code in the workspace.
All right. So now we know how to share our websites and publish them. So share your project. It's time to share your I know I hit the project limit size. Okay. Share your project. It's time to share your project with the world. Do this. Click the share button at the top of this page. Copy the URL it gives you and email it to the people you want to see your page. Okay. So to do that, we click share. Here's that URL, Control C. You can send that link to any phone number that you know, or you can, go to Gmail, which you do have, and say compose to blah blah at blah flag blue river.com or whatever their email address is, and say like check out my website, and then Control V. There's the link to your project. So that's how you can share it. You also have the ability to remix other pages, and that's what it means by that. You can find a website, click remix, and then it lets you work on that as a project. But you don't need to do that at all. It's your own website. You're already remixing and messing with it. So you're already working on that project. No need to remix. You can just share it with anyone you want. Finish. And then make sure that you are completing this survey right here. There are 5 questions, and then click submit, and you're finished with this project. All right, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know that I enjoyed making my website. I hope you enjoy making yours.